Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. Enjoy the show.
Sure.
Outstanding. Good afternoon, Trent. How are you?
Super duper. How are you?
You are super duper.
No, you the super duper.
No,
You're the super duper.
Stop
one.
it. So hey, I'm Jonathan Harmon. Trent's got me all flustered over here. Jonathan Harmon with the J Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams, and we are here, and we're talking about all kinds of stuff. It's almost Christmas. Trent,
Yeah.
have you finished your Christmas shopping?
Absolutely not.
No. How about you, Daniella? Have you finished yours?
I'm almost there. Just
Almost?
a couple things here.
Well, odds and ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get it 2 weeks in advance. So.
Yeah.
smart.
2 weeks.
Overachiever.
you know.
Man.
Overachiever.
I really want to try to avoid the crowd.
Let me pause and think about what it would be like.
Man,
to
I
be
can't
done
even
2 weeks.
imagine. We're so dumb. Just as a male species, we're kind of dumb.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
pretty much. But, so if you're like me and you do still have some things to get, Cedar Glade Brews on Christmas Eve, okay, on the 24th from 3 to 7, we've got 9 vendors coming in and setting up in the tap room. We're calling it the Procrastinators Craft Fair.
Nice.
And we've got
That's
some cool
genius.
stuff, man. There's some Damascus steel knives. There's some other blacksmith type products. There's some crochet products. There's some vintage books. I can't even think. Poetry in the Borough is selling their calendar.
Nice.
Yeah, there's all kinds of cool
Wow.
stuff that's going to be here. So I'm trying to save you from bad chocolate from Walgreens. Okay. So show up at Cedar Glade from 3 to 7,
Yeah.
get a beer and buy the gift that you forgot to get. It'll be great. And as an added bonus from 5 to 7, we've got Captain Aaron, the caroling pirate.
Let's go.
Wow.
So a
Sounds
pirate
amazing.
leading Christmas carols. It's going to be
That's
outstanding.
gonna be so funny.
I can't.
Shouts to Cap, man.
Can't
Man.
wait.
That takes a special person to
He-
say the least.
He is quite special. I'm paying him with a bottle of rum. It's going to be fantastic.
Hey, that's a great gift.
So, real quick before we get to Daniella, we need to hear from Mr. Bryan Nale at Primis Mortgage. Bryan is he's awesome, first of all, and he's the guy that helps my clients with their mortgages, and he also helps spread the positive with its mission and underwrites some shows and just gets out there and helps us move the mission forward. So,
That's right. Thank you, Brian. Here
thank
we
you,
go.
Bryan.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Bank Mortgage, and I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission, and it helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's a true pleasure to be part of. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
Just Are we good to go?
I think so.
Okay.
Alrighty. Keep it moving. What
Not
just-
sure what just happened there. Somebody pulled the plug on Bryan, but that's okay. It was actually just on the end stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
Bryan Nale, that's our guy. He's awesome. So if you need a mortgage, give him a shout. Hey, and they just rolled out something. This is really cool. So and we won't get real deep into that because that's not why we're here today. But basically, there is opportunities right now for house buyers to get closing costs and all kinds of stuff just because of the way the market has shifted. And Primis has said that the biggest hurdle is interest rates. Interest rates are kind of high. And they said, well, I'll tell you what, if you buy now, then they will do a refi and they'll waive all of their fees when they do a refi for you.
That's
So
crazy.
Wow.
it cuts the price of the refi basically in half.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty cool what they're doing over there. Love those guys.
Awesome.
Okay. Now to the star of the show today, Miss Daniela Reina. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, and you?
Doing great.
Awesome.
Daniella is one of the owners of Bella Vista Coffee in Smyrna, which happens to be one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. You guys just moved down the sidewalk. You stayed in the building, but you moved down the sidewalk, and we had a ribbon cutting there with the chamber. Has it been a month yet?
Yeah, it's been almost a month,
Right.
a month and a half.
Yeah, okay. And man, y'all's new space is stunning. I mean, it is beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's been quite a challenge to, move to a new space and renovate it the way we wanted to, because, we've been growing and we've been kind of getting to the limits of compromising quality over quantity. And
Yeah.
we didn't want to compromise that.
Well, it's significantly bigger, the space that you're in now, right?
Definitely, it's almost double the size.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then you guys blew out the ceiling and it's super open and I mean, it's just beautiful. And that mural, oh my word.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm really thankful about the guy who made the mural for us. His name is Carlos. He's a Venezuelan guy as well. And, he was visiting Nashville when he did my first mural at the old space.
Mhm.
So he took inspiration. I was like, I want to do something that, resembles Smyrna or the state in general, and also has like the Latin colors and flow.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's bright. It's just kind of flowing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's gorgeous.
Definitely, it's kind of mix of the Amazonian flowers
Yeah.
and Tennessee, like kind of got together. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And had a beautiful love child. It's
Exactly.
outstanding.
So
Yeah.
definitely you can get both, like a great American flavors with South American flavors together.
All right. So I got to know this. Did you watch him do the mural or did you not watch and then saw it finished?
I saw him finish because I kind of sneak peek on the first one because, as a business owner, you want to, and it was my first time working with him. So you
Sure.
want to get a little bit of the control about the design.
Make sure he's not messing it up.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And it has the same color scheme that we discussed previously. But now that he redid it on my second space, I don't even want to,
So you got the final reveal, huh?
yeah, just
Oh.
the final reveal. I'll give it a couple of touches that I want to keep from my previous space, like the TriStar,
Yeah.
definitely it has a lot of meaning for me. So I was like, let's do this with this new stuff. And at the beginning, I didn't want to cover the whole wall. You see how high it is. So it's
Mhm.
almost like 25
Oh, it's way
foot
up there.
long.
Yeah.
So the guy was like, I cannot just do something simple in the middle. I want to cover the whole wall.
Yeah.
So I was like, just let me do what do you want me to do so I can make it happen for you. And he did an amazing job. So definitely I invite everybody from Rutherford County to come by to Smyrna and check our space.
It's
Definitely
gorgeous.
you can see the brightness and the happiness inside the place.
So tell the truth. When he did the final reveal and you saw it for the first time, did you cry?
I did.
I was gonna say because I definitely would
did.
have.
I did. It was when he did it at mural, the space it wasn't even finished.
Yeah.
So because the guy was moving out of town, and I was like, I'm in the middle of this project. Please come by and knock it out this for me. And he did it. He did it in less than 10 days. That is
No way.
impressive. You see the magnitude of the size of
Yeah.
that mural, and everything is handmade, like
Yeah.
with a spray can, and so he had
Y'all, this
to-
thing is it's absolutely stunning. And I mean, as soon as before you even walk in the door, you can see it, and it's just like, wow. Anyway,
is.
it is
Definitely is a
it's
star.
gorgeous.
It's a star.
It is. Well, I don't know. The coffee and the empanadas are probably the star of your place. All right, so let's talk real quick about just Bella Vista in general, and then we're going to get into kind of the meat of the conversation. What does Bella Vista mean?
Okay. Well, Bella Vista pretty much in Spanish means beautiful view.
Mhm.
But also Bella Vista is the main street that I grew up back in Venezuela. So when we were brainstorming about the name of the coffee shop, I was like, I need to do something that I feel identified and also sounds beautiful and kind of reminds me home. So when we were doing like brainstorming about the names, definitely reminds me home. And I was like, Bella Vista is easy to easy to remember.
Yeah, it sounds
And
nice.
it's a great story to start, breaking the ice with some people. So I just go with it. And actually, or we only have one coffee origin, and the name of the coffee is Konomoto. So that's the name, like the main street of my business partner
No way.
city. So it kind of sounds great, and it's something that actually she can be proud as well.
And pulls home in. I love that.
Exactly.
And then, so you were just telling me before we started that prior to your shop, you've not been in the restaurant business before.
Ever at all.
Why in the world did you do it then?
Well, I didn't know what I was getting into.
Amen.
Well, definitely when so just people know, before having my own business, I used to work in a warehouse.
No way.
Yes.
Here?
Here in Tennessee, in Smyrna. I
Uh-huh.
used to work in a warehouse. I was a forklift driver. So I used to load trucks
Yeah.
for a living. So after few quiet years of doing the same, I was getting burned, and I was talking to my partner, and she asked me, like, if I ever had a business, what kind of business would I like to have? And I was like, well, it was something that if I have to sell a product, because I thought about doing like a mini market with some South American products.
Right.
And the idea was great, but I was like, but I want something that people can identify. Like, I don't want to just sell a product. I want to just create, I don't know, movement,
An
a
experience.
statement,
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
So I come up with this, like, because in Venezuela we are next to Colombia, so we are also well known about coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I remember when I used to live in Venezuela, we used to have these great small coffee shops like the ones we have here in Nashville.
Right.
And I was
They
like,
kind of define the town in a little bit, right?
Exactly.
Like you have your it's almost like a pub, right? You have your pub, you have your coffee shop.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I was like, we can share about the culture that we have. Like, you can have a great cup of coffee. You can learn a little bit about not just getting a good cup of coffee, is like everything behind it of what makes a coffee a great coffee.
Right.
So
And there's so much science in there, the roasting and the soil and I have a good friend, Jeremy Florida, that owns Brass Horn Coffee over here off the square.
I've been there. I love them. That's one of the greatest coffee shops I believe in is Murfreesboro.
For coffee nerds, it is the best place, because he's like, oh, you want to learn about, and then all of a sudden you've got a book on, the soil content, acidity, blah, 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 whatever. The indigenous monkeys put this much amount. I don't even know, man. He's way out there nerding out on coffee, but then that dictates how you roast it, and then that dictates. I mean, anyway, it's fascinating.
So yeah, and I didn't know anything about coffee either. So when I started getting into this world of coffee, yeah, I can open a coffee shop and choosing or compromising quality just because I want to sell coffee, but I want to go beyond that. So that's the reason I get into the coffee world. And I went to a couple coffee roasters, and it took me a couple tries to choose the right one for me.
That's the one.
That's the one for me. So I always put coffee first, like the one that I wanted every single day, on top of everything else. So we try to make a fusion of just not selling good coffee, but pair it with some great food items.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So your coffee is fantastic, but holy cow, y'all's menu is it's next level. I mean, the paninis that you guys make, do you call them paninis? Whatever you guys call them.
It's paninis. It's pretty much paninis because we use rustic panini bread, but we kind of fusion with our Latin
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, there's a blend going on.
So everything that we do in house is fresh made, like from all the sauce, all the prep that we do is fresh made at the moment. So every single time you place an order, we made it from scratch. So every single time that you get something, it's gonna take a minute, but I'm gonna make sure you get something the exact same way every single time.
And it's delicious. So what was the name of the dish that I had the other day with the barbacoa?
Well, that's one of our new dishes.
Oh my gosh.
It's our new plate because we now that we moved to our new location, we decided to play a little bit more with our flavors.
You had a little more room.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
now we just not become, I mean, we are more now than a coffee shop. Now we are a Latin branch concept.
Mm-hmm.
So we did our research and we just realized that there's nothing like this pretty much in Tennessee. So we were like, it's something that I'd enjoyed having a great branch. There is a great branches
Mhm.
around the state. So we would decide like we can kind of do the same, like bring more of the Venezuela, South America, and even incorporate more of the Latin America
Yeah.
in general, because I don't want to be just Venezuelan.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that I really appreciate about this country is the diversity of cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the opportunity to talk to a Mexican friend or having a Asian friend, and so I can try their cultures as well,
Yeah.
and I can kind of bring it in.
And food represents such a big part of that culture, because you get into the preparation methods, and that's cultural, and you get into the specific spices, and that's regional and cultural, and I mean, it's just, and then you start telling the stories about your grandmother making that or some version of that. I mean, it just, I don't know, it just opens so many doors.
Yeah, and going back to the plate that you were tasting that day is one of our new brunch kind of plates. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a strong, big breakfast.
It is outstanding is what it is.
But everything is in house. You get the barbacoa slow cook with all the Venezuelan flavors.
Mhm.
This is really traditional. So you get the eggs with the sauteed bell peppers and
Mhm.
onions, and you get a side of arepitas, fried arepitas that is made of white corn. So they're really good. They kind of pair together with the black beans and the avocado.
Well, even the black beans. So, I mean, I love black beans, but so many times they're just black beans. But y'all's, there's so much going on just in that little bowl of black
Hey,
beans. I was like, wow. they're
Definitely, nothing is gonna be plain in
Yeah.
our side. We always have a little bit of, some adobo, some, salt and pepper. Like, this part of our table. Like, definitely, you're gonna get a punch of flavors in the
I
house.
believe it. It was awesome. So that was good stuff. You kind of answered that question already. I want to shift gears a little bit, and let's talk a little bit about the challenges that you faced to get the business open. Y'all have been open about 4 years now.
Mhm.
In your other location. You guys open, and very quickly COVID comes around, causes all kinds of havoc, as we all know. So when you, sorry, I'm processing your story here. So you're driving a forklift, you're doing your thing. Your partners ask you, "Hey, what would you do? Right? If you could, what would you do?" And you come up with this answer. How did you go from that moment?
From the idea to
Mhm.
make it happen? Well, we start doing our research. So, after we start talking about having a coffee shop, or, the idea starts as a mini market.
Mhm.
So initially the idea was, let's do a mini market with all these Latin American flavors that you can find.
Sure.
So then our second step was looking for a space. So we would start doing our research, and I found this little cute space in Knowledgeville Road, and we check it out. The price was great. It was a mini market there before, so
Mhm.
we just pretty much have what we needed to start.
Right.
So when I sealed the deal with this guy about starting the mini market over there in Knowledgeville Road, small space over there, I started talking with my partner and say, hey, I don't just want to sell these type of products. I want to do something else, like offer small coffee on the go, da 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 da.
Sure.
So then we realized this space too small for what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately the next day after I sealed the deal, I was selling this space. Because I realized it wouldn't work. I mean, it wasn't
sometimes you got to drop back and you got to reset for a second.
But it was my inexperience. I was like feeling.
We did the same thing here.
Exactly. So I was going with the flow. This is the space. This is it. This is a great deal. I don't want to let it go. Rookie mistakes.
Yep.
So, but I realized soon as possible, we start talking about it. So we sell it. And the next thing, I was talking to my business partner, hey, kind of live in Smryna for a few months. I used to work in Smryna in a warehouse. So I was like, I fell in love of Smyrna. I was like, if I ever gonna have a business, it's gonna be in Smyrna. I think in the next 10 years, Smyrna is gonna be the greatest thing because I don't know,
Well, it's
something.
positioned.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I mean, I just felt it, So I believe in Smyrna, and I was like, I'm pretty sure if we find something over there, it's gonna be success. So we started doing our research, and it wasn't easy. So we saw this space next to Ninja Sushi in Smyrna, and it was empty for months. And we check it out. We check a couple of spaces around Smyrna, and for some reason we felt that was the one. And it was a office space, so it was another rookie mistake when we saw the
A lot of build out, huh?
all the paperwork. We didn't know what we were getting into
Sure.
to turn into office space into a restaurant.
Yeah.
So, well, we kind of deal with all that, and somehow we make it happen because
And the city controls
all the city
everything.
permits, because you have to, when you rent or lease a space on their office, and then you have to turn it into a different
changing the use.
tenant of use, you have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that. Nobody told me about it. Not even the landlord told me about it, that you have to pay this amount of money to turn it into a restaurant.
And then you got grease traps, and you got plumbing, and you got
It was a
vent hoods,
lot,
and you got
electrician and plumbing and permits and building, and what are you gonna do on that space besides selling coffee? You have to be really specific about it.
Oh yeah, and you may not
it's-
know.
It takes time. I mean, my idea of having the coffee shop starts in 2018, and I didn't open until March of 2019.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And everybody was going crazy.
Yeah. Everybody was at home.
Everybody was at
They
home.
were not
I
at the
have
coffee
to shut
shops.
down for 2 months. 2 months. And unfortunately, I have to let go everybody. So what I did over those 6 months that we were up until COVID hit, I have to reinvest all that money to be able to keep our doors open after 2 months of being closed. So it was really challenging. Thankfully, it was me and my cousin who was there since day one and kind of make things work again. We opened the doors, customers keep coming back. Thankfully, we have a great customer base. I love them because
Well, in that particular part of town, so you were very strategic, very smart about the location that you chose. You got a couple of coffee shops in other places. You've got Starbucks right there close, but y'all are not Starbucks, and you don't want to be Starbucks.
No,
I mean it's just not the same kind of concept.
and we never saw them as a competition. I mean,
I wouldn't either.
I understand it's a big name, but we trying to create a culture as well. So
but there's no other coffee on that side of town.
no, and people not everybody knows about coffee. Some people think or believe, and that's okay, that a Starbucks is the best thing. But for people who wants to step their game a little bit more, that's where I came in.
And get
And
some
I'm like,
breakfast and get
some
and just sit
breakfast.
down and talk to somebody.
And talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, it's as simple as, you never had this type of coffee. I'm gonna show you
Mhm.
there is something else beside a bunch of sugar
And burnt coffee.
and burnt coffee. Exactly. Like I
said
said,
it.
I
I
have
said it.
nothing against Starbucks, but coming from a mom and pop, that I know where the coffee comes from.
Right.
I know when I ordered it. I know when I received it at the store. Like, they roasted, for example, today, Wednesday, and I received it on Thursday.
Yeah. And if you need to, you can go to the place and check.
And
Like, you
check,
can see
of
it.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. I know their standards. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's a change. I'm supporting another local business.
Mhm.
So I feel people should be more it's not grateful, but it's supposed to be more proud of where these beans are coming from.
Right.
Where
Right.
they're getting roasted. I mean, we're supplying other jobs.
And guess what? It's not more expensive than Starbucks.
It's not.
It's really not, and it's significantly better. So, all right. So, you've got, we were talking about this before, you've got kind of the trifecta of cards stacked against you as far as starting a business. We've all seen statistics. We all know that, and it's not a shock to hear that being a woman, it's a little bit harder to start a small business. Sometimes you got that.
It is 100%.
Being a minority is sometimes harder to start a small business, right? And being an immigrant, it's harder to start a small business. And here you are, a woman, immigrant, minority, starting a small business. So what specific, and you can break those out into those 3 categories, you can lump it all together, however you want to answer this. What are some specific challenges? We know that there's challenges in starting a small business, period, right? Like stuff you don't know, learning curve, working with government entities, landlord issues. We get all that. But what were some issues that you ran into specifically because of who you are?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's unfortunately, but what is on my back a little bit is it can be probably, like you said, start your own business as a woman in a men's world, because it's true. It can be really hard because
Why is that?
Because, in my opinion, a lot of people think
That's all I want is your opinion. Yeah. So
yeah. A lot of men think, or a lot of people think, because we are getting into a new challenge, like building your own business is a subject that probably a lot of people think that we don't know about it. Like, so when I talking to contractors, just because I'm a woman, they start making these technical questions that I'm pretty sure a lot of guys don't even know what I'm talking about. Just because I'm a woman, they make it harder for me to maybe think that I understand the game, or I don't understand what they're talking about. Maybe I don't know, and for something very specific, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna do my job and research about what they're talking about. So next time when we're discussing something like that,
so did they approach you kind of in a condescending manner, just like
it's just they don't take you
like, oh sweetheart, let me
they don't take you seriously. For example, on this new transition of building my new coffee shop, it took me probably 4 months to find electrical contractor for my company. I talked to I talked to 6-8 different companies, big ones, small ones, medium ones, local ones, and not any of them took me seriously till I found this great person in Smryna, Brooks Electric, who did my
shout out to Brooks Electric. Thank you for taking her seriously.
We have a great relationship. He did.
So what does that look like when you say they didn't take you seriously? What does that mean? Did they just kind of blow you off? Did they not return phone? Like, what does that mean?
I have mixed experience. Some people came to check the space. I was like, this is what I have. This is what I need to do. This is my budget. Some of them is like, yeah, I can do this. This is great. And I never heard of them. Probably you can be in the same position. I don't know. It happens to you before, but that's what I experienced. Some people were like, oh, but I'm going to send you the budget. And they send me a crazy amount of money for something really specific. And, or it happens to me before, like somebody was like, you're not going to be able to make this happen. This is too much for you. Like, they were straightforward saying like, you should stay
specifically to you,
specifically to me.
Oh wow.
So of course, I mean, that was when I said, well, I'm gonna prove it to you that you're
I'll
wrong.
show you. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah. But that's one of the smallest thing that it happens to me. Or I can be talking to the plumber and they can be straightforward, like, I'm the plumber, I know what I'm talking about. Or you don't know, because I don't know, you can feel that pressure they put on you, and you have to be a little bit more firm about it. So
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. And then you said something off camera that we were talking about as well. And you said that then you had, on top of that, you had people that basically kind of discredited you because of your accent. You had people that were just like, they just basically didn't take you seriously, right?
Well, yeah. Here and then I'm still dealing with it. I think it's part of being an immigrant. But I think even though in the area that I am, that is Smyrna, people being so welcoming to having something new and fresh, and they can tell that we care.
Hmm.
But definitely, it's always here and then that happens that somebody feels like, I don't know, they feel over you and they feel like they want to treat you, disrespectful somehow,
Hmm.
just because you're a woman, just because you're an immigrant, just because you have a thick accent.
Yeah.
um Unfortunately, it happens like a couple of weeks ago at the shop. A guy come in, and I'm not the only Hispanic speaker at the shop,
Hmm.
and we're really proud of that. Like, we can,
Yeah.
I make sure everybody feel comfortable talking to us, or you know we're not afraid to do a really great customer service.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely been my experience.
So this guy, and walking, he was extremely rude to one of my employees. She was a female, and actually, I don't know, he was trying to pay a coffee with 100 bill. It was like a $4 coffee cup.
Not an unusual
I
policy.
wasn't there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, they were really polite. We cannot break 100 right now, unfortunately. And the guy spit on her.
Are you serious?
I'm not. I mean, it's
How
it's
did she not punch him in the face?
she couldn't. What you can do in that position? It was horrible. It was horrible. It's unfortunate that we have to go through that. Even though we try our best to provide, a great customer service,
Oh,
a
I
great.
got my hackles up, man. I wish I had been there.
It was horrible. No, no, it's not an excuse. No matter if it was a girl or a boy working with me.
Who
Nobody
does that?
should have to go through that, especially on these times.
Yeah.
Like, just because something
You
as
didn't get your
silly
way.
as a coffee, I would rather give it to you for free. But that's not the way. That's not, she's not gonna allow to just to be like that, because you're being an
Who
idiot.
who does that? I want to now. I want that guy as a guest on my show because I really just want to know what was going through your mind at that moment. What I'm
What
just
makes
curious.
you? Yeah.
What makes you think that that was the appropriate thing to do in that moment? I don't know. Like I'm fascinated with mindset, bad or good, extreme either way. Just because it's like, how did you get there?
I know. I
How did
know.
you get there? Because normal people don't do that.
Yeah, I felt so bad for my girl, my employee.
Yeah.
Like, nobody should
Uh,
go through that. No, there is none excuse to, you know, go over
Oh,
over that position. Like, feeling like in the property of,
Yeah. No, I
crossing the
agree.
line to anybody for any reason, no matter what.
That's crazy. Well, let's get to something positive because that is just
I know. I'm
dude. There's
sorry. I didn't
there's
want to
no
share
no
this with
there's
you guys, but
wacky
that's
people.
that's the real thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter that she was a Latina or not, but maybe because she was a woman in a
He
men's
felt
world, he
yeah
felt like he has that
a
position
little
of.
a little safer to do that perhaps.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure it was a guy taking care of him, double the size of him. Probably he wouldn't do anything.
Right.
But
Right.
this is the world we live in. So I just, hopefully, this guy is never gonna show up again at the shop, and hopefully, she's fine. She just had a really bad time that day. We called the authorities, and he has a report on the, we take care of that
That is nuts.
as much as we could.
So let's talk real quick then about kind of how you developed. I know the dish that I had, the plate that I had was what's it called?
Abuelita's way.
And that's
So-
grandmother, right?
Yeah, that's grandmother's way.
Yeah.
We kind of got inspired of my business partner grandma's, one of their signature dishes when she grew up. Apparently her grandma make this big, huge plates for her, so she gonna go inspired and create this dish specifically in honor of her grandmother.
Well, her grandmother is phenomenal because that thing was delicious. What when you guys are sitting down, when you were developing your menu, I'm sure there's, I don't know, there's probably what, 20, 25 things on your menu, different dishes or what have you. I'm sure there was probably 50, 60, 80 things that you could have put on there,
Mhm.
right? How do you narrow it down? How did you choose that one over the other 25, 30, whatever that you didn't choose?
Well, we do. I mean, it takes time to sit down and break it down.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just a try and error. Like,
Mhm.
you have your own brewery. Sometimes you want to try.
Well, we've
And
made a bad beer here and there. Yes.
it happens here and then to us. For example, we start with paninis.
Mhm.
And even with the paninis here and then we have to switch that up, even though people love I don't know, we make cubanitos, so people love the cubanito no matter, they don't want to try something else. So
Right.
but here and then we try to spice it up a little bit.
Sure.
So we do the same when we start doing the concept of switching to Latin brunch. That's when we do what we can do to offer something different. And what we like to have our menu is like we try always to do like infusion of American culture and Venezuelan or Latin American, because we have similar flavors
Sure.
in Latin America. So we try to combine both. That's the reason we create the Abuelita's Way. And also we have that, please, I invite you to try it next time, is a loaded sunrise. So I have breakfast potatoes, sausage. It has 2 sunny side eggs, a toast with a mango jelly. So we create a fusion. So when you taste
That
all the
sounds
flavors
delicious.
together, it should blow your mind. So,
Yeah.
so that's the experience we try to create every single time. So beside the big plates, now we have sandwiches that we fusion with, avocado, eggs, the
Mhm.
mayos that create in house. We have plantain chips.
Yeah,
Now
they're
we have
delicious.
appetizers that we didn't have before, like more Venezuelan, like tequeños. That is our Venezuelan cheese sticks. They're really good. We have empanadas that you had them before.
Mhm.
All the empanadas is fresh made in house. We create all the fillings for the empanadas. We cook them in house. So
Well, my son, I forget what the name of the sandwich that he had, but he had one of the paninis, and he's 16, and he's too cool for school sometimes, and he sat down and he's like, okay, it's a sandwich, and he takes a bite of it, and he was like, it was like this, it was like, wow. it was fantastic.
exactly, that's the experience we try to create. Far away seems like it's just a regular sandwich, but when you sit down and try it and you feel like it's something completely different what you try from what you tried before,
Mhm.
that's when we waiting for the wow factor.
Well,
That's
you guys have nailed it for sure. Okay. So we've talked a little bit and we brainstormed a little bit. I'm curious, put in the comments if you would be interested in some more content about small business starting and the challenges and trying to overcome the obstacles and specifically some information about doing that when you kind of in a rough spot anyway, whether it's because of being a woman, an immigrant, a minority, the challenges that are inherent in those things in addition to starting a small business. If that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know. Put it in the comments, and we'd like to gauge some interest and see if that's even a thing. Would anybody like to hear that?
Well, I hope so, and I would love to, because like now I start from nothing to something in a new country with new rules,
Yeah.
new language, and I make it happen. And I know I'm
And a pandemic.
in the middle of the pandemic.
Let's go ahead and throw that out there too.
And I survived. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy. It's a constant learning process that I deal every single day.
Yeah.
But I love it. I know where I'm going. I'm determined where I'm going, and hopefully I can inspire at least one person. That will be enough for me.
Well, and you're doing a heck of a job there. So what's next for Bella Vista?
Well, we just recently opened 2 months ago. We are trying
Reopen in a
to
new space.
reopen.
Right.
So pretty much it's a new baby, because we built a full kitchen. Now we have a new dishes for everybody, appetizers, great coffee, Right now we're trying to seal the year. So everybody knows where we are. We just moved a couple stores down where we used to be.
Mhm.
So we're still in Smyrna in that hidden gem spot that we found a few
It's a
years
great
ago.
location.
It's a great location. It used to be a Jimmy John's, and now it's ours. So we're really happy to move to that location.
Well, it's like 3 minutes to I-24. So instead of hitting the drive-through at Starbucks, just turn right
and you're gonna
walk
get a
in real
great
quick.
coffee, great environment. People are gonna care about who you are, and that's what I love about my business.
And your employees are doing a good job of that, by the
Thank
way.
you. I really appreciate. Try to create a great work culture that I think sometimes we lost a little bit of that, of having a great atmosphere that is a safe space, that we can be respectful and we can care about people. We can remember you. We can remember your name for real. Like, to be honest with you. So that's kind of the culture that we have, and I want to just cultivate it to everybody around.
And they have video games. I almost forgot about that. That's important.
Yeah, we have that little corner. We have a Sega and we have a Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
So you can have more Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Mario Kart, like all the oldies.
So all you parents out there, put your kids on the video game and enjoy a coffee or 2 or 3.
Yeah, or a couple paninis, couple empanadas.
Definitely empanadas. Definitely.
But yeah, and even if you want to practice Spanish, we'll be there for you.
It's perfect. I love it. All right. So this Bella Vista, this is Daniela Reina, one of the owners there of Bella Vista. If you haven't been to Bella Vista yet, put that on your list and go for the first time before the end of this year. And then go for the second time at the beginning of next year, because you're going to go back. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we're trying to get more goodies. Hopefully we're going to partnership with you in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to start getting mimosas, some beer, so you can pair it with our Latin fusion food. And good things are coming for this 2023.
That sounds great. So it's right off of Sam Ridley, close to the movie theater, if you know where that is in Smyrna. That's probably the biggest landmark close by. And anyway, we'll put the address and the website in the comments there. Right, Trent?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So real quick, before we check this out, Spin Positive, if you have a story that you want to tell, then we would love to have you on this podcast. If it's a short story, if it's a really long story, we'd like to have you on this podcast to launch your podcast that tells the long story. And if you don't really want to sit in front of a camera or a microphone and tell your story, but you want to help those that do, we're also looking for folks to underwrite and advertise here on the Spread the Positive Network, like Mr. Bryan Nale. So we love that guy. If you need mortgage help, he is your guy. If you need real estate help, I'm your guy. If you need a fabulous cup of coffee and probably the best breakfast that you'll get in Rutherford County, you need to go to Bella Vista and get the, I'm going to mispronounce it, but Abuelitas Way breakfast.
Yeah, there
Trust
you go.
me on this one. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Jay, for having me here today. It's a pleasure telling and spreading the word of where I'm coming from and where we're going right now and how my business start. I hope, like I said before, this is an inspiration for somebody who's trying. Like I said, it's not an easy road, but trust me, at the end, it's a great.
It's rewarding, isn't it?
It's rewarding, and if would it be easy? Everybody has their own business, and it's not like that.
There you go. That's
so
it.
thank you so much. It's inspirational talking to people like you, trying
Thank
to spread positivity to everybody. So thank you so much for having me tonight.
It's my
over
pleasure.
here.
Truly, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys very much. You got just what? How many hours left before Christmas? So a couple days worth of hours before Christmas. A Cedar Glade gift card or a Bella Vista gift card would make a fantastic Christmas present if you don't know what else to get, folks. But anyway, enjoy it. Be nice to each other out there. There's enough crazy in the world. Don't contribute to the crazy. So be nice, be patient, and we'll see you guys again real soon. Thanks.
Thank you.